Let's go back for a minute. Picture it, the mid-1970s. Trust in the American government is at an all-time low. And right then, a special Senate committee is about to pull back the curtain on secrets so dark, America's own spy agencies had kept them buried for decades.
But let me ask you something to make this a little more personal. What if your own government saw you not as a citizen to be protected, but as a test subject? What if they secretly drugged you, messed with your mind, and did it all in the name of national security? It sounds like something out of a wild conspiracy theory, right? Well, as Congress was about to find out, it was all horrifyingly real.
And the most shocking secret of all wasn't about foreign spies or some new weapon. No, it was about a war being waged right here at home, on the human mind itself. And the unwilling guinea pigs? They were American and Canadian citizens. The program was called Project MKUltra. And for 20 years, from 1953 all the way to 1973, the CIA was running it in total secrecy. So what was the goal? Simple and terrifying: to crack the code of mind control. This all came out of Cold War paranoia, fears about Soviet brainwashing. The CIA wanted its own weapons in that fight. Could they create a perfect truth serum? Could they program a person to do anything? They were determined to find out.
The methods they used were just the stuff of nightmares. People were secretly dosed with incredibly powerful drugs, especially LSD. They used hypnosis, electroshocks. They'd plunge people into complete sensory deprivation for days. Let's be clear, this wasn't just research. This was torture.
So who were they doing this to? An internal CIA memo gave the bone-chilling answer. They specifically targeted, and I'm quoting here, people who could not fight back. This was never about finding willing volunteers. It was about finding easy victims.
And the CIA cast a really wide, really unethical net. They went into mental hospitals to dose patients who had no idea what was happening. They experimented on prisoners, on drug addicts, sometimes even bribing them with more drugs. In one insane operation, they actually set up CIA-funded brothels just so they could secretly drug men and watch what happened. And get this, they even drugged their own employees and military personnel without their knowledge. Nobody was off limits.
The craziest part is we probably still don't know the full story. Why? Because in 1973, as the Watergate scandal was blowing up, the CIA director Richard Helms ordered almost all the MKUltra files to be destroyed. It was a deliberate, calculated cover-up to bury the truth forever. But a few documents survived.
So by the mid-70s, the whole country is just reeling from one scandal after another. And then a tiny crack appears in that giant wall of secrecy. 1975 would go down in history as the year of intelligence, the year the darkest secrets of America's spy agencies finally began to see the light of day.
And it all started with a single newspaper story. In December of '74, a journalist named Seymour Hersh published a total bombshell in the New York Times, exposing that the CIA was illegally spying on Americans. The public outcry was immediate, and it was huge. The White House scrambled to create a commission, but Congress said, nope, not good enough. They wanted their own independent investigation. The Senate vote to do it was almost unanimous, 82-4.
This was a real turning point. I mean, think about it. For the very first time, a committee in Congress was given unprecedented power to investigate the nation's most secret, most powerful intelligence agencies. The locks were coming off the files.
The man leading the charge was a determined senator from Idaho named Frank Church, and so the investigation became known as the Church Committee. And their mission was enormous. It went way beyond just the CIA. They were tasked with digging into abuses of power at the FBI, the super-secret NSA, and even the IRS. What they were about to uncover was so much bigger than just MKUltra. The committee demanded that the CIA hand over its deepest, darkest secrets, a collection of documents that, inside the agency, they actually called the family jewels. And what those files revealed was a staggering, decades-long pattern of abuse that went far, far beyond mind control experiments.
So what else was in there? Oh, just the FBI's COINTELPRO program, which illegally spied on and tried to discredit civil rights groups and activists like Martin Luther King Jr. They found CIA plots to assassinate foreign leaders like Fidel Castro. They exposed Project Shamrock, an NSA operation that was just hoovering up Americans' private telegrams. And they found a program where the CIA and FBI had illegally opened more than 215,000 pieces of private mail. The list just went on and on.
The level of secrecy was just mind-boggling. For most Americans, the Church Committee's investigation was the first time the U.S. government even officially admitted that the National Security Agency, the NSA, existed. For years, people inside Washington joked that NSA really stood for no such agency. Well, now everyone knew it was real.
These revelations sent shockwaves across the country. But the Church Committee didn't just expose all these problems, it set out to fix them. Its work led to some of the most significant reforms of the U.S. intelligence community in history, creating a whole new era of oversight.
In a now famous interview, Senator Church really laid out what was at stake. He warned that the incredible technology these spy agencies had, well, if it was ever turned against the American people, it could create total tyranny. And he called that the abyss from which there is no return. The committee's goal was to pull the country back from that edge.
And their work led to real, concrete changes. Before the committee, it was basically the Wild West. Afterwards, a permanent Senate Intelligence Committee was created to keep an eye on the spies. Covert actions now required congressional sign-off. Assassination plots were officially banned by executive order. And to rein in all that domestic spying, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, was passed. This created a special secret court to approve warrants against suspected spies on U.S. soil.
And that really brings us right up to today. The work of the Church Committee completely reshaped American intelligence. But the debate it started, well, that's far from over. Almost 50 years later, in our world of digital surveillance and all kinds of new threats, we are still wrestling with that exact same fundamental question. Where do we draw the line between keeping the nation safe and protecting our own privacy?